Here's a nice selection of crimps, and they basically come in two basic styles, which are a single sleeve like this, or like this, a barrel sleeve, or a double barrel sleeve like this. These double barrel sleeves are good with cable connections, but I wouldn't use them on mono generally. There's two different materials, three different materials generally. There's copper or brass sleeves. These are copper or brass, copper. And there's aluminum sleeves. The aluminum sleeves are best used for monofilament connections, but they don't work well for cable connections because you set up corrosion with the difference in the metals between the cable and the aluminum. You're better off with copper or brass to limit corrosion on cable connections. So here I've got a piece of 400-pound monofilament, and we're going to do a cable connection, a crimp connection with this 400-pound as an example. The crimps come from the manufacturer marked in packages, typically with numbers on them like size 1.7, size 2.0. I don't know what size these little ones are, but smaller size. On the packages, they'll tell you that 1.7 is for some particular range of line size, say 100 to 200 pound, and 200 being, say, for 300 to 600 pound line. And also they'll sell crimps where the crimps are marked to tell you what size goes in each crimp. But oftentimes those markings either aren't there or don't match. So for example, this crimper here has inch sizes on them, like 3/32, 1/16, 3/64, instead of matching up to what the cable manufacturer puts on the sleeve packaging. It doesn't really matter. What you want to do is select a sleeve through which the line that you're crimping will pass 2 times, but still be snug inside. Sometimes it's a little hard because you get a burr on the end of the line, and that prevents you from coming through the sleeve. If you cut that at an angle, it can help you run that through a little better. Sometimes you may want to cut it with a knife instead of with your pliers, but see, that helped it come through much better. So we're also going to put some chafing material on, and I've cut about 1.5 inches of chafing material. The chafing material also comes in a couple of different sizes, so you want to get the size that allows your line to pass through that chafing material, whatever leader you're using. So you've got your chafing material and your sleeve on. Put your hook over top of that, come back around and put your leader back through the crimp. Now I also like to go ahead and burn the end of that a little bit, the end of that leader material, so that now that it's through the sleeve, you intentionally create a little burr at the end that makes it hard to slip back through once you get everything lined back up. So I'm going to pull this back close to the edge of the sleeve, pull on the leader material, and that's going to bring that chafing material back around and create a nice loop for me. And there you go, you've got a good setup there in order to crimp. So I'm going to use 1/16 on this, and I'm just eyeballing that to be the right size. When I put it on the sleeve, I'm leaving just a bit of the sleeve out the side of the crimping tool. Hope you can see that. And the reason why is because if you crimp all the way to the edge, you can actually cut through the line. So you want to leave a little, and when we crimp down, what's going to happen is that last little bit is going to flare out slightly. So we crimp down on that. And then we're going to slide over the sleeve and do the same thing, leave a little bit out at the other end. Crimp that down. And there what we've got is a nice little flare at each end. And that's a good solid crimp right there that's not going to come undone. And the amount of pressure that we put on, the amount that we squeezed it is not so great as to damage the monofilament inside the sleeve, but strong enough to hold that tight against whatever you're fighting. So there you go.